Hi, this is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with the acclaimed actor and digital artist, JAY Paranada. But before we get to our interview, here is a sneak peek of Jay singing one of my favorite Bill Finn songs from the musical A New Brain, Time.
Everything's changed, and nothing's changed. I mean, I'm different, but I'm still the same. I still complain, but I'm not the same that I was. Except I'm the same that I was, but different. At least I hope I'm different. So on this new day, let's begin from scratch. The pleasure's mine. I give you time. I give you time to screw around. I give you time.
Well, hello, Jay. How are you?
I will. How are you?
Doing
I'm great.
so much better now that I'm speaking with you. And I was just telling you off camera, I love the small world that is the New York theater community. We have so many mutual friends in common, and I love that. And it doesn't surprise me because you are not only a great person of the planet, but what an amazing talent. And the audience just got a sneak peek of your talent through your singing. Truly one of my favorite Bill Finn songs, Time. Talk to me a bit about what the assignment for that song was. Obviously, it was for a graduation, and what that song means to you personally.
So I've been in the New York City area for about 14 years now, and my alma mater reached out to me during the pandemic, and they specifically asked for vocational people who followed their vocation and followed their dreams of what they wanted to do with their life. And the dean actually tapped me and she said, I know that you went from being a sociology major and now you are doing the musical theater scene in New York City. Would you be interested in speaking on our virtual platform to speak to our 2020 and 2021 grads? And I thought that was really beautiful. And I actually ended up using a cut from A New Brain, which is sort of the reason why I'm in musical theater in the first place. I feel like I listened to it when I was in my teens, and I specifically just really felt the power and the emotion of beautiful storytelling. And I wanted to be able to capture that. And I felt that Time was very good about explaining what we were going through as a nation and a world right now with this world intermission that we're experiencing.
Absolutely, Jay. Absolutely. And you did such a beautiful job. And on top of that, Jay, I want to know, where were you born and when did you realize? Was there an aha moment for you that you wanted to be a part of the theater?
So I was born in Seattle, Washington. My entire family is from the Philippines, so I'm first generation. Everybody's in the medical field, of course, in my family. So I'm the first person to kind of divert away from it because it wasn't really my calling. It wasn't something that I was really feeling with my heart. So then I remember kind of doing tandem of the emotional work, like behind the scenes with like choir and like, you know, being a part of the band, but not necessarily thinking of it as an actual step in toward a career until about probably 6 months before graduating from university. So I have a degree in sociology and psychology, and kind of in my heart, I was like, there's something more. I have to do something else with my life. Came across a quote from Mary Oliver, what will you do with your one wild and precious life? And that really hit me so hard that I kind of wanted to dig deep. And I found an advertisement at the like our music board, because I was a music minor at the university that I went to. And it said, come audition for American Musical and Dramatic Academy. You know, see what it feels like to be a full-fledged performer. And I thought, I'm gonna give this a go. So it was a one flyer that kind of brought me to this feeling of like energy and excitement, and it kind of lit a fire, you know. Yeah. And I think that's probably that was the impetus for where I am today, which is beautiful. Just because I pulled together a monologue. I had not worked on it. I didn't really do much theater in like high school. It was just kind of like it was in the background
Yeah.
of what my life was supposed to be, or how my parents kind of originally said.
Well, listen, Jay, what I love so much about your story, I think it's a narrative that a lot of artists, especially young ones, should really lean into listening to, because
Yeah.
you obviously knew in your gut that there was this childlike sense of wonder and spark that just needed to be reignited. And the fact that it seems like you manifested that flyer in that moment. It was a do or die moment, and you leaned into it, as scared as you may have been. And thank goodness you did, because you've accomplished so much already in the theater world. Are there certain roles that you've played thus far that stick out to you as being the most memorable?
Memorable. The two biggest roles that kind of come to mind for that would be the most recent production that I did, which was the Broadway National Tour of Aladdin. I was Iago, and it gave me an opportunity to really invest in the sort of the epitome of what actors coming into the city to be like. I want to see what it feels like to do a production contract and do it 8 times a week. And the reason why it was so emotional was because I was able to bring my husband along, who took some time off from work. He's a teacher at the New York Department of Education as an English as a second language teacher. And we have a child born via surrogacy, and she actually was also on tour with us. So we were able to see what it felt like to be a traveling family, while doing the thing that I kind of set out to do with my life, which was kind of beautiful. I mean, not a lot of gay men get an opportunity to say, let's travel this country on Disney's dime. And the other role that really comes to mind is it's just so important now is I was able to play Baker in Into the Woods, and Stephen Sondheim obviously has recently passed.
Yeah.
And it was so emotional just because we were going through the journey of wanting to be fathers as well.
Yeah.
And of course, for anyone who knows the story, it's the baker and his wife trying their hardest to find their kind of calling as parents themselves. So throughout that entire process, I felt, because we didn't give birth to Lily until 3 or 4 months after that contract had been finished. So it was sort of life being reflected into to art, and then vice versa. So those are the two.
Sondheim. Well, Jay, I want to hear you sing No More at some point. That is probably my favorite Sondheim song of all time.
Yeah, me too.
Beautiful. I just got a chill thinking about you singing. On top of that, I love the fact that no one can ever be able to take away that beautiful moment you had on tour with your family. And you know what I mean? And I just think of your daughter and how beautiful it is that she has 2 dads to look up to, both pursuing their bliss in totally different fields. But in the fact that you built a home for her right outside the city, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Listen, Jay, before I ask my final question, I want to let the audience know. I know it already. I want to let the audience know that right below this video, you can read more about Jay. Follow him on his amazing, amazing travels and career with all of the links below. Jay, if you could give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
It's a really good. I ask myself that question every 6 months, just as a personal proclamation of figuring out my purpose, if that makes sense. I think this past 6 months is, don't lose sight of what you set out to dream. And even if the world kind of throws you for loops, especially with what we're experiencing right now, it's, as long as you stay the course and like believe in what you're able to offer the world, I think the world will hopefully be able to give the blessings back.
Amen, my friend. Well, obviously, you are an artist and a human that has done the work and continues to do the work, not only for yourself, your husband, but now your beautiful daughter. And I'm so excited that you're also joining this platform. It's a platform that, you know, not only where artists are going to be able to and have been able to connect and collaborate, but just a safe space for artists like yourselves to just be unapologetically themselves.
Absolutely. Well, it was a pleasure to be able to be interviewed for this. So,
well, it is such an honor to be interviewing you, to have this conversation. And also I'm happy that we're connected now, Jay. I mean, in just researching you these past few weeks, I've obviously heard of you, but the fact
Sure,
that
of
I now
course.
get to put you know, a story and a four-dimensionalized human to the name, I really look forward to us collaborating.
I hope so. That would be beautiful.
Me too. You have an amazing day.
You too. Thank you.